Welcome back to my attempt to get some attention as I am advocating for myself to get a change of medical status through the Veterans Health Administration / affairs. First of all, let me show you what's going on here. You see this thing? So I think it was a chemical burn underneath my beard, so I had to shave the beard off. And it was the that I used the acne little pads to clean some stuff up that I thought I was having maybe some acne grow there. I don't I'm in my 50, I'm 54. I don't have much acne. I never really had much acne even growing up as a kid. But I thought it was some because in my beard, I just like to wipe it down, and so I use it. So I think that it got all the chemical got stuck in the beard, and you can see that it caused like a chemical burn. It was moist and had a film over it, and every time I'd get in between the beard hair, it'd be wet, and so um, I figured I'd just shave it off and let it dry out if that's what need be. And so it seems to be drying out. It's sensitive, like a burn, and I think that's what it is. But again, here's me. Okay, this is a perfect example of, I don't need to go to the doctor. I don't need to, you know, go any further than my own, you know, uh, dumb educated self-assessment. I'm gonna go with my gut and just do what I need to do and move on. If it gets any worse, gets infected, then I'll go. But other than that, it's not doing much. It's just sitting there. It's hurting, but oh well, no big deal, right? So um so let's start off with giving some credit where credit is due. Okay, so an update on some of my situation. So I did write Kirsten Cinema. All right, wrote her a few times. Wrote her back in the past also, but most currently wrote her and our senator, and she returned back with her office returned back with this information. So this is email number 3. Okay, and so Mr. Leon and it's De Leon. All right, so get it right. It says, I appreciate you sharing additional details. I gave Kirsten Cinema, I wrote her office exactly what I was dealing with because they didn't ask. And why wouldn't you ask? You'd want a little more insight about what's going on. So I figured I'd do that myself because I'm my own advocate. Nobody has to tell me to do anything for myself. I just do it. So, all right, for additional details, have you submitted an OIG complaint with the Department of Veterans Affairs regarding your concern? And that answer is yes, I have filed a OIG complaint. It was a few years ago, but I did. A couple of things have changed. Of course, my medical has gotten worse. I filed for a TBI that got denied. So a couple of things have been different in my case file. So maybe I just wrote her a little bit ago, and before I got on here, and told her that I would do it for record. So we'll see what they come back with as far as filing my OIG report. Now I know how it's going to come back. Okay, they're going to um, um, the VA is going to reference the denial of the TBI. They have to because that's the latest file I submitted claiming a TBI, right? And so they'll reference that. If they're on top of it and they're going to stick to the narrative of denying me a TBI, then they will what they will do is they will reference the denial of the recent claim for a TBI that was denied, and they will just say any further, do A, B, and C, or you have any further concern, do A, B, and C. If they're not on top of it, they're going to send me to try to get another MRI, which I've had, 30 of them, different things, blood tests, maybe get a checkup, and then it'll be denied because then they'll finally run into, oh yeah, he did TBI filed and he got denied, so let's just reference that. So it all depends on how far up how much they're going to read. The dumbly educated, how in their professional efforts. They're gonna. It's either gonna run into them or they're gonna run into it. Okay, that's how it works in the government. It's not at the tip of their fingers. There's no, you know, headline on anybody's file. Well, maybe some people's, but a file that is flashing light that says warning, warning, veteran. There's nothing like that. So they're either going to run into this information after doing their job, which is going to take some time, some effort, and or it's going to run into them, which means that yeah, it's somehow a status that is an alert status that says the most current stuff is here, apply for TBI on this day. Okay, then they move forward with it. Those are the two options that are going to happen with them. With me, like I said, they're either going, if they're on top of it, they're going to say, no, you've been denied. You can contact your so and so, or they'll try to give me some sort of option, and then I'd have to go from there. So yes, I did file an OIG report with the Veterans Health Administration, and I believe I was being addressed by the supervisor of the medical board there in the Southwest Tucson, Arizona. And I don't know if it's Phoenix Regional Supervisor, but some sort of manager supervisor here in Tucson. I'm in Oro Valley, but Tucson, we're connected to Tucson. So that's what she writes back to me, but also it also states a little bit of where people are with my claim. Okay, now for me, I don't like the word they use here, but it is a distant word for me, and I've been fighting long enough to not use that word. But they don't know. They haven't invested any time. Kirsten Sinema's office hasn't invested any time to look into my situation. So we're just getting started. I am going to file another OIG report to see where it sits, and I'm going to use that as a reference to say, look, Kirsten Cinema office, I applied again, and this is what I got. Okay, so I always like to look ahead. So I already know what's going to happen, and that's what following through means. So I would wish that they would do the same, because what I have already explained requires that sort of attention. It's not as though I'm just not getting any assistance for, not receiving any care through the VA, like it's lacking or something. I'm just not happy with it. No, I have a critical situation that has been medically neglected, which it should step it up a few notches for getting it resolved somehow, right? Yeah, but at least putting it in a situation where it needs to be addressed. It can't just be this. Oh yeah, well, oh, you're not getting any help from the VA, okay, and that's where most veterans' complaints are put. They're just put in the bucket, okay, and you'll be lucky if you get a follow through or follow up. They call it here, and get some of this matter situated, okay, because it's important, and It all is devised on the fact that I have a critical situation. It's not just a standard complaint. Okay. Now that's where I'm not going to get into that, but that's where I feel they have the biggest problem at the VA, and a lot of companies have a problem at that point. All right. They're afraid to label anything and put it into a sort of category because, it spells a lot of, a lot of problems like discrimination. Maybe it's not in the proper category. So there's a lot of problems with categorizing it. And so they don't do that. They do put it, they should, and I think they do put it in if it's an extreme matter, like an extreme disability that requires attention ASAP. But there again, that's why you have um, you have the emergency room, so you can get taken care of there, and then they admit you, and then everything follows through in that way. But my issue is I'm at home. I don't need to be in the emergency room. Okay, and that's part of the problem also, is that it wasn't taken care of, so now I am home. But anyway, so I give credit where credit is due. She deserves the credit. Thank you, Kirsten Sinema, for following up. She put it to me. And it says, if you submitted one, yes, we're following through. We can certainly follow up through a congressional inquiry. Now, I've already done that, right? I've done that with several Congress people. So it all depends on the status of my situation now. So and this is the point, you guys. So every time I do something, I complain. I start over with that complaint. It's never a let's start from where you left off complaint. It's always let's start from the beginning, right? And so you can't win wars that way, people. Okay, we can't jump into a war and say, okay, where do we, let's start over. That's a tactic you do while you're in war, right? Well, we can't, they can't keep resetting me to zero to figure out, well, okay, that was so and so that did it. I need to do it now, so we need to start from scratch. Now, I understand you got to get your own information, but there comes a point where that information should be accessible, right? In a critical manner. If it's a critical situation, it should be definitely accessible, right? And that should be with everybody. I mean, that's what computers are for. That's what people's assessments are for. Is to put it in this computer, update it, so the latest thing could be addressed. I mean, I get it sometimes from inoculations, like the rest of us, right? Oh, you just got your. You guys have a record. I can get a flu shot at Oro Valley, and then go down to Walgreens and get one, and they would know because it would be in there recorded. Now, why can't that be done with my medical situation, right? Why can't it be done? There's no excuse for it not being done that way. That's different from people saying, no, we do have a system. No, 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 we don't have a system that does that. We have a system that people have been working on to communicate with each other. That's different. To share information, I'm talking about it being like they do with it being labeled, because you basically are stamped just like opioids. I take opioids, so it's just like opioids. If you are taking opioids, and you guys know a little bit about opioids, you know that is very restrictive, and they have their finger on it for sure. So if you get it somewhere, it's no longer where you can double up on it and have another doctor get it, because that's what was going on before, right? That's a way of getting manipulating the system. Well, now if you are getting opioids, it is everywhere, man. I mean, I'm outside the VA to try to get or to getting my opioids. Thank you, Lord, for the Pima Pain Center, and the VA picks up on it. Everyone has picked up on it. It's almost as though when I go in, I just got a new doctor because I got fired from my last doctor. She was unable to address me and my needs medically. So when I went to this new doctor, immediately it shows opioid. How did that happen? How does that happen? Now, why can't my situation be addressed that way? My medical situation, possible TBI, follow through. I mean, that's a critical situation. It's not like I'm just complaining, right, about not getting addressed at the VA. Oh, I didn't get my hamburger on time. No, I have a critical need, progressively getting worse, which naturally it would if there's no medical maintenance for it. And it's been years, people. I've been advocating for myself to get a change of medical through the VA. Now, there's a process to go through, and I've been through it. There's also a process to go through it in which once you go through it, there's a limitation to what you can do after that. And then you're forced to do it a certain way. Yeah. So a lot of what I was doing was being geared by these people, like from the Order of Purple Heart, DAV, all these programs were assisting me to do it a certain way because if I did it one way, that would ultimately push me back, my case back, and I would have limitations of when to file it again, how many times I can complain about it. Do I need to get an attorney from this point on because you only have so many tries to do it, and so those rules and regulations, SOPs, you have to follow, and even when there's levels of it. There's levels of it, and that's where I'm stuck. So I'm stuck in this purgatory, and so far, I believe, according to the people who have been trying to advocate for me in the past, I'm still able to ultimately file for the, uh, um, I would say the hardest way to do it is the military way, through the military. And I chose to do it through the VA because the VA has all my medical records. Most current and the most current TBI claims that I have. They've sent me out to the community to get tests for a TBI, and they got all the information back that they need, which they're denying the VA, and so but they still have it. So all that information could be sent to the military. The VA, if I can get the VA, and this is what the advocates are trying to help me do, because they've done it. They've helped other veterans in the same matter. Just that mine is with the TBI, and I'm claiming, and I think since I have a unique case, I'm very few of a situation, so it makes it even harder for me, right? So thank you, Kirsten Cinema, for getting back with me. I am going to file another OIG report, and we'll see what kind of information you're going to get back. I know what I'm going to get back. Okay, I'm just going to give it to you. It's going to be denied. I'll tell you right now. I'm not guessing, folks. It's going to be denied. And like I said, it's either it's a two-way possibility. They're going to run, the VA is going to run into the information, or the information is going to run into the VA. You're like, well, how does it if they're control of information? Exactly. It's a narrative. They're either going to follow the narrative, the same narrative, or they're going to say, you know what, let's follow through with this Kirsten Cinema and this complaint with Sergeant De Leon, and let's follow through and let's hit the reset button to get more information and send him on his way to get a TBI evaluation and whatever else the process is. Right? And that's not going to happen. So, so then at the end, uh, this is a word I don't like, but it tells you what how other people see my situation. Okay, so it says. So the Veterans Affairs Benefits Administration, this is the Benefits Administration, will not address your TBI. We can relay that on your behalf. However, as we have previously, and see the the Veterans Affairs Benefits Administration is different from the. I mean, it's just under the same umbrella, but the Veterans Benefit Administration is different from the Veterans Health Administration. So I'm not claiming to have a change of medical through the Benefits Administration. I'm claiming it through the Health Administration. Okay, so we need to correct that, and that's okay. So it says, however, as we have previously, we do not conduct individual investigations, which is the role of the VA OIG. Okay. And then where's the word I don't like that they're using? I'll get into what I just read, but oh yeah, that would be the next best step regarding your allegations. I don't like the word allegations. It makes me feel like I'm just some common, person on the street, not in the military. I'm trying to claim something that is far fetched out there. I have a lot of history with what's been going on in advocate, and I am a combat veteran. So, and allegations makes me seem further apart from my claim. I don't like that. Okay, and they are allegations to other people, and that's what I'm saying. That's where other people, that's where everyone else sits with me. Okay, because they know nothing about. I mean, even in Kirsten Sinema's office, even with some of the Veterans Health Affairs Committee, Select Committee members, they don't know everything, and it's difficult for someone to actually do nothing but veteran administration stuff. Know about them, know the policies, know what's going on, know how to file. It's almost impossible to do that. But unless you're completely drowned in it, and that's what you do, then nobody knows the process. Nobody knows how extensive it's going to be and what options are available. They're just not. But that's why I need people. That's why I can't advocate for myself. I have no power. The only thing I have is credibility. I only have my credibility as a combat veteran. That's all I have. And that's not enough. So so I understand that the Senate doesn't do individual investigations. I understand that. That's something I don't need to know. I don't, because all I'm looking for right now is to come out of people's mouths. Is this what we're going to do? And that's it. This is what we can do. We can't do other things, but this is what we can do. I don't want them to explain to me what they can't do. I want them to tell me what they can do. Right? Hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to follow through with this situation. I've been down the negative road already. I don't need any more negativity. I think I'm an expert at VA negativity. You know? Well, you got to do it this way. If you don't do it this way, you don't do that. And oh yeah, and if you got to file it, you got to file it this way, and you got to word it this way. Because if you don't word it this way, then it's going to get put here, and if it gets put here, then that's going to take 6 months. And if it takes 6 months, then you got to go back and you got to do this, and so it's a bunch of stuff. There's so many limitations to for somebody like myself, and that's part of the big problem with the VA. That's why they say it's too big to fail, because not one problem that you have to address with the Veterans Health Administration is going to cause any sort of a solution to what your complaint is. It's not going to cause any change of status through the SOPs. They're not going to change anything. So that's why the government doesn't apologize for anything. So I have to file for that org. I'll give them the information, but I got to keep them hooked. I got to keep, a fish hook on them and let them know what's going on, right? At least they're going to follow through with it in their efforts for right now, right? Now, I don't believe that they cannot get involved with supporting me with an attorney. I what I mean by that is I don't need them to do all my work or any of the work to obtain an attorney. What I do need is them to support me as a combat veteran to have one to file and try to move my status forward. They can support me that way. Kirsten Sinema's office, the Veterans Health Select Committee, that's where I need to be. I don't need to hear, well, we don't do, I understand. Okay? I'm way past that. And if you learn anything about any organization that's dealing with veteran health issues, you'll learn that the limitations is what runs these organizations. It's not what they can do, it's what the limitations are that run the organization. So that's all these organizations do. Unless you are a private organization, then you can wishy wash your way through some of these SOPs. If you are receiving funding, or you are in somehow in best interest of doing some contracting with the VA, you are limited now. Like the DAV has certain privileges to work with the VA. Well, now they have to abide by certain limitations. The VFW, same thing. The Wounded Warrior program has people inside the VA that are there for some sort of advocacy. Some sort of, we'll help you with information or something. I don't know. So they are now limited. And that's part of my problem, is why I'm in this purgatory, is because I can't exactly say, hey, VA, you're an ugly duck. You're ugly. And then get away with it and join the Wounded Warrior program and have that attitude toward the VA, because now the Wounded Warrior program has some investment into the VA. They're invested into the VA to try to get veterans help, right? That's more important to them. So it's like helping the collective in a very general way. That's why I'm not getting anywhere. But see, I see that. I because I'm going through it. But when I try to explain that to somebody, I'm not a person that they could work with. Just like my doctor that fired me. I try to explain these things to these people, and I know I'm right. I know I'm making more sense than I should be making because I don't get paid for that. But I get shot down with my information that I try to give these people. Because it's like whatever comes out of my mouth, I'm trying to explain. It seems like I'm just bitching about something, and I'm trying to explain to them this is what's going on with me, but they don't hear. It goes in one ear, goes directly out the other one, and then when I keep doing it, then I'm hard to work with. Oh no, your attitude stinks. You know, yeah, you're definitely a veteran. You have problems. So part of me being in my situation is exactly what happens there. The leadership is poor. And until, and to point this out, until Kirsten Cinema keeps following through and I get what I need, I'm going to continue to follow through with her office and I'm going to continue to be my best advocate for myself. And I'm going to bother people until it's resolved. And if I have to, if you want to battle with me, okay, if you want to go to battle with me, then go ahead and pick me to do it. Go ahead and address me so I can engage toward you, and we can hash this out, okay? But if you have a solution and you're the person they want to hear from, like this OIG report, and they're like, well, if it's coming from Kirsten Cinema's office, then maybe we should consider it more than just coming from this Sergeant De Leon guy, who is, what's the word they used? Allegations. His allegations are, I feel like, good Lord, man, what allegations? I'm not alleging anything. I'm stating that I have a freaking TBI. Where else would I get it? But see that I can't do that. I literally have to be blamed. I have to. It's like going to court, right? I am accused first. Beside, first off, it's all against me. I have to prove my innocence. That's how I feel, and that's the way it seems. And it doesn't. Yeah, and folks, it doesn't help when you have people that don't know what's going on. And like for instance, my people in my company, my army unit, they're idiots in there that were they think they know everything. There were people that were put into doing radio communications and intelligence. After getting there, and they needed to hear all the interactions on the radio to see what was going on. Well, some of those idiots, they think they know it all. No, I was there. You can't depend on them because they think that they're in control of every single piece of information that went, that happened. They were not there, and that stuff happens, people. So you have to be careful about who you talk to, who you're going to rely on, and that way, if there's always going to be negativity coming back to you with something. I feel like I need to protect. Address that I'm innocent first. Like I'm being accused of murder or something. I feel like I'm, like something. What? Why are we so negative about why I'm claiming my situation? I'm a freaking combat veteran. I got injured during IEDs. I also got injured, changing tire on a base coming out from a mission, which is mission because we're carrying a freaking Abrams tank and it was too damn heavy and busted our tires. So we had to roll into base because we couldn't sit there and change a tire unless you want to sit there and change a tire and get shot at. It's up to you. So why do I have to feel, and it's more than a feeling, because I'm being treated this way. Like I have to stick up for my rights. Like I have to stick up for my story, because no one believes me that I'm telling them, hey, I got injured overseas. Let's just start with that. Hey, I got injured. I don't even want to talk about what the injury is. I got injured. Oh no, no, you didn't. Wait, what? Right? Stupid idiots. I've had some folks back in the past when I first started, they were like that. They're in this radio comm communication thing. And that's why I mention them, because they're a bunch of morons. They're just kids, trying to be adults and given this opportunity, have some leadership skills. And then they think that what comes out of their stupid head, that they don't have to deal with it, because they're always going to be right from that point on. And when you have people supporting you, like higher up people, your supervisors, you're never wrong. Right? Bunch of morons also. I'm telling you, people, that's what I believe. There's a lot of right people in the wrong positions. And I say it that way because they're good people. They're just in the wrong positions. Some are put in that position just because, they're buddies. Right? I saw a lot of that in the service. Unless you're not going along to get along, you're not going to be given the opportunity to be welcomed in those spots. Right? And you don't want to be an overly hard charger either. That's what I was. Because when you do that, you make other people look bad. Like, hey, slow down, man. You're setting a standard up here. It's like, well, that's who I am. What do you want me to do? Well, we want you to go along to get along. Oh, so you want me to be a dum dum like the rest of you guys? Yeah. So, I have my issues with the service, but the service is a great, great place to go. I recommend everybody to join the damn service. The VA Health Administration, great organization. I recommend all veterans go through there, even if you don't have any issues. At least enroll. But when problems arise with these things, they need to be pointed out also. And this isn't in a personal attack. I'm telling them the way the things happen. I'm a realist. Hey, look, you guys are all and it's hard. It's very difficult to prove that there's the buddy buddy network in the service, or any service, right? In your workplace, it's very difficult if you have to build a case to say, oh, they're all buddies, that's why they get they're giving each other pats on the back. It's very difficult to prove. So Kirsten was following through, which is good. So I'm letting you guys know that that's what's happening. I'm going to be pushing it through, and I still need, well, I wouldn't even say that. I need folks that are watching these videos to send a note. Just send a few words. Doesn't have to be a story. All you got to do is just get on and say, hey, I'm interested in saying, hey, have you looked at this guy's name is Sergeant Marco De Leon? You might want to pay attention to that. That's it. You don't have to explain nothing. You don't have to put your opinion in. All you got to do is just send it, and keep sending it until I'm going to keep informing you on these podcasts until something actually happens. Right? And you're like, well, what does that mean? So now, okay, so for instance, let's say my medical change of status, right? That they actually look into it and say, yes, we can set you up with the process to do that. Well, that's going to be the first information you guys are going to get. The second step will be like, oh, you got an appointment to see Dr. So and so. That's what you're going to get every step of the way. And then when I do see it, and I'm going to give you guys the positive and the negative about it. You know, if and you guys are going to see. I'm going to try to bring you guys with me while I do these. I mean, I'm doing the podcast, so it's like you guys are coming with me. Like I used to tell my wife, you need to go with me, man. These people, it's unbelievable how they're addressing me. And she didn't believe it until she went. And so that's what I'm going to do with you guys. So when I see these doctors, if I get to that point, I'm going to point out everything. Oh, look, this is what the doctor said. This is what's going on. What do you guys think? I'm going to show you guys what's happening. Now, if it goes completely positive to me, that means that people are picking up on these videos. And they're saying, oh, we need to respond to these videos. But if they're not, then you're going to get the narrative that I've been complaining about that's being run through the VA with my case. And you're going to hear it because I'm going to tell you guys what's going on. But I got to get the first steps going. And I can't do that without you guys' help because I have no power. I can complain all day. I can, go out in the front of the VA, picket out there with signs saying I'm not getting any help. I can do all sorts of stuff, but nothing is going to move forward with me. The power of where I need to be is being controlled by the VA. The narrative is being conducted as we speak. Oh, what if we have to run this situation? Well, they're in control of that. And I'm telling you, irregardless, people, of what kind of help I get, there's accountability to my case. We cannot go through this process and say, well, who didn't do what they were supposed to do? How many people do we have to look at and review their job descriptions? It could be something minor, but it still needs to be addressed. Right? I wouldn't be in this situation if some of these physicians took the opportunity to do what they were supposed to do before they became a doctor and took an oath of moralities and all those good things they're supposed to be. I said, you know what? I may be working on policy and procedure, but I'm going to find a way around this and see if we can do this. Or we're going to push it through so you can find another route. But let's see. Let's get something moving here. Right? Don't just give me an MRI. Just don't send me to another doctor and say, okay, well, I sent you to a specialist, and what the specialist say? Same thing you did. I'm telling you guys. So Keisha Cinema got back with me. I'm going to write one of my Republican friends and see if we could go through there. Now, I guess Katie Hobbs is Arizona congressional person here. I don't know if that's correct, but mine is O'Halloran, something like that. And I've written to him, gave me a note back saying, "Hey, thanks for contacting my office." That was pretty much it. All right. Hey, I'm losing motor function. Oh shoot. Oh man, I'm having this problem. I've been dealing with for. I really need your assistance. You're up here. You're like right. I send this letter and it comes back. Walk, walk. Thanks for contacting us. I'm like, wait. Why did I just pour my heart out to an office that first doesn't know how to respond to a situation from a combat veteran or anyone at that matter, and should, doesn't ask questions, just sends out this general note and wants you to bend your back, break your back to try to get a hold of him, beg, literally beg them to contact you and follow through to have some kind of communication back and forth because of the severity of the situation. You see, and I understand they got to deal with all these veterans that are complaining that their situation is the situation of the year. Oh no, my situation is so bad. Right? They got to deal with that. And then when they actually get to it, it's sort of like, man, all you had to do was, file an OIG report. I know. I've been there already. And that's what I'm saying. Unless they acknowledge, the VA acknowledges the OIG report coming from Kirsten Sinema's office instead of from me. I don't mean directly from Kirsten Sinema's office. Let's get real with it. I'm saying, follow me. Come on. I'm saying, they're advising me to do it. If that advisory is on that paper, Kirsten Sinema, oh shit, this is from Kirsten, and it means more, then by all golly, well, let's do it. Am I happy about it? Not until something happens with it. I don't care if President Biden's name is on it. My name is the one that's important. All right? I should have more credibility than that. I don't want to be put in this bucket. Oh, these damn veterans, they're a bunch of babies. You know the shit I've been through for somebody to think that way? Man, I tell you, if we didn't have laws and rules, and we were like a country like Iraq, you would all those people that mess with me, you guys will no longer be around because there's no law saying I can't do what I need to do do what I need to do. It will be over. That's why the country is the way it is in Iraq. But here, this is exactly what we fight for. And I put myself in that situation so I can enjoy it. Even in my state of disability. I don't care how bad my disability is, I want to be in the freest country in the world, right? Damn right I do. And I'm enjoying it while I'm here. Oh, and by the way, since I did do that, right? Since I did do that, can I get some medical help? Aren't you receiving medical assistance from the VA already? I get that a lot, people. I get it a lot. Well, you are receiving medical help from the VA, though. I like when they act as though like they're informing me that I'm getting medical help. Oh, but you are getting medical help, aren't you? Like they got me. Oh, I got you. Hey, wait. Of course, I'm receiving medical help through the VA. Am I supposed to point out all the good stuff the VA is doing for me? You're not asking. You're also not asking how bad my situation has been neglected. So where is it that you need to make a point? Again, all I want to hear from people's mouths, coming out of their mouths, is what they can do for me. I already been down the road, but I love it. I love when oh yeah, aren't you receiving? And I'm at 100%. Okay, because of the severity of my disability, which is it's a phantom disability. I'm getting paid for having the disability with secondary issues and probably, I don't know, tertiary, is that how you say third? Tertiary disability, all these things that aren't correct. But they know it's there. And that's another reason why I'm not receiving the medical care, the medicine management that I need to be receiving for a possibility of a TBI. That's just a possibility of a TBI. That's not having them. That's not being closer to getting a TBI. That's the possibility of receiving medical management with the possibility of a TBI. Okay? Because that could happen. Well, you may have an infection, so why don't you take this pill? You see my point? So I love those people. I tell you, I could choke every single one of those damn people. But you are receiving medical help, aren't you? Okay, take the cape off. Okay, take it off. Stop trying to be a hero around here like, you're Mr. Informative. It's absurd, people. It's absurd. I get treated poorly most of the time. Not some of the times, not half the time, most of the time. I get treated poorly. They judge me on all sorts of situations. Right? I got tested to psychologically through the VA. I denied trying to get, I denied getting a full assessment psychologically because I know what their point was. I know what their the objective was. I said, no, 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 I'm damning myself if I do that. So, they basically and quickly they asked me if I see the devil. hmm No, but I know the devil, and they're not treating me with what they're supposed to be treating me with. I signed a contract with the devil, and it's even with the devil, right? It states here that you're supposed to give me a bottle of water every 2 hours. Well, I'm not receiving that. You see my point? It don't matter who it is, but living in the freest country in the world, God bless us, they need to do better through the Veterans Health Administration. Figure out a way, figure it out, right? Again, the right people in the wrong places. Just because you have a degree doesn't mean you need to be put in a leadership position. Hell no. The vetting process for somebody working at the VA should be the most important thing right now. The vetting process. Not how many degrees you have. Well, I went through this program, yeah, but what's the program about though? I want to hear both complaints and positive stuff that you've been through with the program. Right? And then make an assessment. See if that person fits in that slot. And then continue this is the most important part of how the VA can be much more efficient is if you evaluate the people in these positions that have the power to make these kind of decisions that put me in a situation that I'm in today, you keep evaluating them on a more consistent basis. The more important your position is, the more evaluations you're going to get. That's just a job. That's the way it is. If you don't like it, then get the hell out. Right? Oh, you're tired of it? Yeah, well, too damn bad. I'm tired of having not being able to use my damn legs. How about that? Oh, I'm tired that the policy doesn't allow us. Yeah, well, you're a big part of it. Why don't you do something about it? Well, I don't want to get fired. Yeah, well, I don't want to die. So it's important that we have communication with the people that are making the decisions that have me in purgatory to not receiving any medicine, medical management. I'm being medically neglected through the VA. The VA can do better than this, people. They can. I know it, but they choose not to. Well, we just don't know. That's because it's too damn big and nobody gives a damn about how big it is. And the worst part about it, like I said, folks, I'm going to end this damn thing right now. I'm going way too long. The worst part about it, this is the worst part about my situation. This is the worst part, is that the people that have the authority, the people that can move mountains, have seen me, or that have seen me, know what I'm going through. They see that I'm low crawling on the floor because I have no other way to get around. Now, at one point, I was there, people. I was there. Or they wouldn't give me a wheelchair, and I literally was like, I'm stuck. What do I do? How do I get around? I had to beg for the wheelchair and got denied, 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 denied. I don't know how many times. Got a scooter and like, well, I lost my arm, so how am I supposed to turn? Well, okay, we'll give you, and these policies are exactly meant for people like that. Not, well, I want to know where it says, well, like, well, you think about giving me a wheelchair. What does that say that in the policy? Well, I don't think it does. Well, where does it say that since you guys can't figure out that he has a TBI and you refuse to give him a TBI and evaluation, you know what? Better yet, the hell with the give him an evaluation. You just need to give him the TBI because it's a duck. It sounds like a duck and it quacks like a duck because it's a duck. And he has a story to back it up. And where else would he get this TBI? Within a time frame that only explains there's one place he can receive and sustain this injury. Mm-hmm. It's like, am I fighting Agent Orange? Am I? Because it's going to take my lifetime to figure out how to get a TBI when other people, God bless them, they came back and they're running and playing football and walking and doing all sorts of stuff with TBIs. And I am more closely relating the exact symptoms of a TBI because they could see mine. Some of them they can't see. They can see the effects of it. Other people are walking around playing football, jumping out of airplanes and stuff. And yet I have to claim this, impossible feat of, well, we don't know. You're an anomaly. I want to see that in the SOP where it says if I have an anomaly, then everything else is negated. All the policies and procedures don't apply to you anymore. Once one doctor says you're an anomaly, is that what happens? I want to see that rule. No? Well, then I should be able to be granted these under these policies that I do have a duck. I am a duck, right? With your 100 MRIs. Oh, we just don't see anything, Sergeant De Leon. So, so you must be lying about your TBI claim. Oh yeah. Hmm. Well, you're just a moron. Yeah, but can you prove it? No, I can't really prove you're a moron. Like you can't prove don't have a TBI. So this ball just keeps getting bounced back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And a lot of the times, like I said, the worst thing about it is the people that have the authority to deal with my situation are the ones tossing this ball back and forth. Yep. And they'll cry about the policy. Oh no, well, I can't do this because if I don't have this, then I can't do this. And if I don't have this, then I can't do that. I'm not allowed to, right? That's all I deal with, folks. I deal with stuff that are against me that I can't even see, that are affecting my health, my mental anguish, my quality of life, everything that everybody holds to the highest regards in their life, I don't have. But yet they want to keep bouncing this ball around because that's more important to be aware of what they can't do than to what they need to do, right? Considering what I'm complaining about. If I was complaining that I couldn't get a wheelchair, but because I couldn't do a certain thing, I can understand if that's all that was. And I didn't have real health concern, but I need a wheelchair, and I can explain why. Right? I mean, I'm way, 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 way past that. That was way in the beginning when I started not to be able to walk. I've been through that. Oh, I need a wheelchair. Why? Because my left leg don't work, bro. Yeah, but it'll come back. Yeah, but what if it don't? Don't you think I should have a wheelchair? I don't know. We think he'll come back, so just have a cane here. So I get a cane. So it gets worse. And then it moves over to the right leg. Hey, you think I can get that wheelchair now? I don't know. You've been doing okay with that cane. Can I have two canes then? Because maybe I can slide my way through. Yeah, maybe that's better than asking for a wheelchair, dude. You know, because you're nowhere near having what you need. You're like, so what's wrong with you? I'm serious, folks. That's what I get. Literally. Walk into a doctor's office, right? Not walk, but I had to scoot over to move my legs to sit on the chair because the office was too damn small, and I had to jump out of my scooter in order to swing my legs over to swing here to move that to get into the chair. And this doctor sits down, and then he looks up at me and he says, "So you can't move your legs?" I said, "No." He says, "But you walked in here." Yeah, just like the doctor that said, "Hey," to my wife, "Your husband, there's nothing wrong with your husband." Yeah, but he can't move his body parts. Yeah, well, when he feels like it, he will. What would you guys do? I know what you would like to do, but what would you do? Right? When if you are completely controlled by a narrative, by a policy and a procedure, what would you do? What if your health was getting is in a progressive uh, um, down term? I hate using that phrase. What if it's in a progressive uh, uh, a progressive, what word am I looking for? A progressive disability that's getting worse. It's progressive. But people say, yeah, but TBRs aren't progressive. Okay, get off the damn internet. I don't want to talk to you guys. I already explained. So, what would you do if it was affecting your 9-year old daughter, 9-year old son? What would you do? Forget about being in the service and combat. What if it was a child? What would you do? Hmm? You wouldn't do a damn thing. That's what you would do. You just cry like I'm crying. There would be nothing you could do. My son has a TBI. I think he fell off his bike. Well, we just can't see it, man. We did 100 MRIs and we can't see a TBI. Yeah, but he has one because we were there. What would you do? Right? Well, thank the Lord I am in the service because there's SOPs, policies that they need to follow. They need to follow them. But there's ways you can follow them that could be either negative or they could be positive for you, right? And the people that govern the policies and procedures would rather be more careful, extremely overly careful, to grant you anything that you're claiming, no matter what the story is, no matter if the evidence points to exactly what you're claiming, they rather deny it because it's the safe way to go about doing stuff, right? Yeah. So that's my rant for today. Um, you guys can look at my other rants. You got my email on there. Another thing, post. I put my email and my phone number. Any of you pussyfoot attorneys that want to contact me, you can do that. Any of you doctors that feel like, you have a word to say, well, then, get a hold of me. Anybody that has an idea that thinks, and I screen all these things, man. There's a lot of stuff that just, oh, have you tried to contact? Yes, yes. So unless you got an ingenious move, something that's at Harvard. No, I wouldn't say that because there's some seriously dumb educated people at Harvard. I'd say about 60 to 75% of people in Harvard are dumbly educated. The situation for people that go to Harvard, people, is already set for them. Okay, when they get into their situation because they graduated from such a prestigious school, the things they get into for jobs is already dictated for them. It's already a set career. It's already a set situation where they don't have to prove their education because they went to Harvard. So don't let that fool you. Anyways, on to la place. Talk to you.